Do you wish you were faster at the ZZ method? If so, you're in the right place.
This is Problem Solved.
This 3-part video series is for anyone who can use ZZ to solve a Rubik's Cube and just wishes to get faster. If you don't know what ZZ is, or you only have a vague idea of how to use it, please look in the description or click right here to check out my ZZ beginners tutorial before watching this video. Let's get started. Every person that uses the ZZ method falls into one of 4 skill levels: Novice, Achiever, Expert, and Professional. Each skill level showcases a distinct knowledge of and capability with the ZZ method. Advancing from skill level to skill level requires you to first increase your knowledge of ZZ by learning new algorithms and techniques, and second, to hone your techniques and increase your capabilities through lots of practice. Being the first in the series, this video will cover how to advance from Novice to Achiever. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video. After all, learning everything here will make a huge difference in your solves. Also, feel free to back up and watch any section of this video over again. Let's begin by defining what a novice is. Most novices have just learned ZZ and have a basic understanding of the method. They can use ZZ to solve a Rubik's Cube, but they do so quite inefficiently. People at this skill level tend to solve the cube in around 30 to 60 seconds-ish. Now let's break down each step of the solve. For the EOLine, novices always orient the edges separately from forming the line, just because that's easier to do. Then, in the F2L stage, the novice is found playing around with the cube to form blocks. These are occasionally formed optimally, but this is certainly more rare than common. Then, in the OLL stage, the novice can recognize and execute all 7 OLLs, but they do so fairly slowly. Then, to finish up the solve, the novice uses 2-look PLL. Just like the OLL stage, these algorithms are recognized and executed fairly slowly. With that definition in mind, here's how to advance to this next skill level, the Achiever. To begin, you must first move towards solving the EOLine in one step. That means solving your line pretty much at the same time that you're orienting your edges. Getting this down will take a lot of time and effort, but it is well worth it. The first thing to do is to note where your line edges are when you're looking for the bad ones. This will allow you to think about or visualize where they might move to as you go about the orientation stage. Now, since the line is formed of these 2 opposite edges, make it your goal to have the line edges opposite each other at the end of your edge orientation. That means one in the right layer and the other in the left, or one in the front and the other in the back. However, sometimes getting your line edges opposite each other isn't very easy, so you'll have to compensate by becoming creative with how you move your bad edges to the front and back layers. Look for multiple ways to orient the same set of bad edges. Lastly, once you have all of your bad edges in the front or back layer, you don't always have to do a front to orient them. You could do a front prime. Make sure to think about which direction gets you closest to the goal of having your line edges opposite each other. To cap all of that off, I'm going to do one example solve of an EOLine that encompasses all of these ideas. So in this case, I have 6 bad edges, 1, 2, 3 in the front, 2 in the back, and 1 up here on top. My line edges are this one and this one. Now notice they're currently adjacent to each other, not opposite like we want. Since I have 6 bad edges, I have a couple different ways that I could go about orienting them. I could move this one right here and make a group of 4 up top, and then do the last 2 in the back. Or I could do this group of 3 followed by another group of 3 back here. Or I could do a group of 3 back here followed by the last one up here. I'm going to do that last option, and you'll see why in just a second. So I'm going to move this bad edge to the back to make 1, 2, 3 in the back. Then I'm going to do this back turn to pull this edge down here over to make it a bad one, which notice is the line edge that we had earlier. This will allow me to reposition this edge and move it to a new spot. So I'm going to get my 4 in the front, and I'm going to do a front turn to put this edge opposite this one. Notice if I had done a front prime, they would have been in the same layer, which isn't as good. So, front, and then I can form my line nice and easy. Lastly, consider starting your solve from a new position. In my beginner's tutorial, I taught people to start with yellow top and green front. This meant that bad edges could be quickly recognized by looking for red or orange facing up, or white or yellow on the side. Now, sometimes this position doesn't yield a very easy EO line. But if you try a new position that still has the same colors in top and bottom, and front and back, then you can look for a potentially easier EO line without having to relearn how to recognize bad edges. Now let's talk about improving the first two layers. This step is the easiest to improve and will yield the greatest increase in speed as you get better at it. Improving this step could be the result of learning specific algorithms for each case, and that's certainly a valid option, but for many people it gets tedious and annoying after a while. In my opinion, more fun is to figure out your own solutions. As you practice your F2L, just do various moves and see how things work out. If it works out great, awesome, and remember how you did it. If it works out in a way that was worse, undo it and try a new way. For example, we have this pair right here that's already been built, and it just needs to go right here, which seems very simple to put in. However, that leaves this one, which isn't a very fun case to work with. So let's undo that and see if we can figure out a better solution for this wall. I could instead try and work on this pair first. I can form the pair and put that in, and this pair is still together, so it's still really easy to put in. And now I've just saved a few moves and improved my F2L. Do this kind of thing as you practice and learn good solutions to nearly every F2L case. For OLL, just practice the 7 algorithms, focus on recognizing and executing them more quickly. Then, once you get to the PLL stage, it's time to upgrade to full PLL. This will allow you to solve the cube in 1 step instead of 2, which is significantly faster. However, it will require you to learn 14 new algorithms, so don't try and tackle them all at once. Aim to learn 1 every few days or so. Go ahead and look in the description for links to those algorithms. You've done a fantastic job of making it to the end of this video. Give yourself a pat on the back. As you can see, there's a lot to learn, but as you spend time practicing it, I promise you will get faster. Once you feel like you have all of this down, you're ready for the next video in this series, found right here, or in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share my channel with a friend. This has been Problem Solved. Over and out.